Welcome to another video. This time around we're looking at the Pegasus Hobbies model kit. I think it's ABS plastic and PVC of VERMITHRAX Pejorative, the dragon from the movie DRAGONSLAYER. And I've got the logo there, DRAGONSLAYER. And I've got the hero of the movie there with the Dragon Slayer spear in hand, and a shield made of dragon scales, made by another character to protect him from on his quest to fight. He's going to go in there with that spear and fight this. Yeah, that's it. I did some flames on the base. The base, it may go out of focus a little bit, but the base is just a simple round environment. It's not much to it, with a bit of a rim. It was a simple flat molded piece. It's probably the only plastic piece on the thing. The rest is all like ABS or PVC. And it was just sort of plain. So I did my best to make it look ashy and burnt and kind of creepy and old. I put a few little rivulets of water in there, and I tried to do something to make it interesting. And the dragon, he did sort of attach to it, but I got rid of the attachments, and he actually sits loose on it. And he actually rests much better that way. I added the flames. As you can see, these little flames here. What I started with was I painted flames on the edge of the display, because it just looked so dadgum boring. It had nothing going on, so I painted flames there. But I realized I needed some three-dimensional flames. And you may laugh, but I got the flames from a McFarlane Flash figure. It was the zoomy electric flames coming off of him. And it worked really good. They went down in the little pits, and I painted fluorescent orange and yellow and white and all that. And if I hit it with a black light, yeah, if I go ultraviolet on this bad boy, it really glows. It has all kinds of fire, real cool fire effects going there. And that, that really, if you kind of get the flames, if you kind of wave it around, you can get a flame effect out of it a little bit, kind of. Except for the blue light, which is not anything like they would have had. So we'll turn that off. I don't like how on camera it's really blue. In person it looks great. Anyway, the real paint was the man. Peter MacNicol was the actor. He played a character named Galen Bradwardyn. This is early in his career. He went on to be in Ghostbusters 2. He was the funny little fellow in the museum, and he was on Ally McBeal and some other shows. But this is him when he was really young. And I guess they thought he was going to be a heroic straight man. He's always ended up being kind of funny. Do a little bit more black. Look at that. But the real show is the dragon. VERMITHRAX, this movie was made in 1981, way before the advent of CGI. And sort of at the end of the era of regular standard animation, where it was jerky. They came up with a system. Phil Tippett and some other guys. It was a co-production of Disney and Paramount Studios, and they used resources of both. And they came up with a thing called Go Motion, where they had the puppet and they had a rod puppet or whatever, and then they would move it slightly when they took the frame, so it blurred, which is something stop motion does not do. You watch King Kong, there's never blur when Kong moves, but this dragon moved in such a way, very liquid, and he would blur. Well, that was revelation back then. Now, it didn't last very long. CGI came along, a few years later, and it's gone. It was extinct. So it wasn't with us long. But to me, Dragon Slayer is the best go-motion movie I can think of. And VERMITHRAX was the first real dragon design I ever saw in a movie that just got my attention. Now, yeah, there's Smaug and, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings stuff and all that, and I like Smaug. He's cool. But he's CGI. He's very established. This one was created for this story, and he's now you're talking about way before the whole Game of Thrones and all that too. I mean, this predates all those dragons, and he's still my favorite. He's I think a drake is what it's called. He's got 2 legs in the back there, and some various spikes and fins and things. He's got gills because he swims underwater, and his arms are the claws, the wings. Those are his fingers. So he is a drake, from what I understand. And I spent a lot of time. I thought I had him painted, and then I realized all the work I'd done was underpainting, and I had to go and continue and do it all some more. I had to add more layers. I'm just turning it because I want you to see his eyes, if you can see them. They're so small and very, very hard to reach. If I could tip it just right, I would flip him up and you could see that in his mouth I've got some fluorescent orange, and you can make the glow in there if you put the light on it. I mean, this guy's in danger. He's right there in the front of the dragon, and yeah, it's time for the fire to blast. So I mean, he's right at it, you know. And so that is a dramatic piece. I will admit, it's a very cool model. I'm a little annoyed though that you've got a dragon with his head facing down, with his mouth open but down. You can't really see it very well. And he's crouching and he's crawling in a more awkward physicality. He doesn't have his wings out where he's grand and all that. I say he. There were some babies. It may be a she, so I'll avoid the pronouns. I don't know about all that. I just know that the dragon had babies. There were 3 in this movie. And Galen killed them with the Dragon Slayer, and that made VERMITHRAX really angry. But it takes a surprise in the movie to finally take the dragon out. So watch the movie sometime. It's a cool story. And what a design. Phil Tippett, who did Star Wars and other movies, co-designed it. A guy named Danny Lee of Disney Studios made the full-scale props, that the head and the tail and the things that they filmed live with actors. And Chris Wallace, who I've actually met. I met him at Bob Burns' house, where a puppet head to this is on the wall. I've actually got a photo of it. At the end of the video, you'll see on Bob Burns' wall. But Chris Wallace of Gremlins and other movie fame made the hand puppet head work for the movie. So this movie had a lot of people in it. By the way, in the movie, it co-stars in a bit part a very early movie role for Ian McDiarmid, that played the Emperor in the Star Wars movies. He plays a priest that you barely see in the movie. But he's young too, so it's like you don't even think Emperor. But it's a cool movie. It's a great cast, great music. Alex North did the music. It's really cool. I knew it was nominated. The music nominated for an Oscar. And anyway, so this is my Dragon Slayer display. I'm most proud of it. I finally have a VERMITHRAX in my collection. And if you like it, give me a like. Comment if you'd like to. Join up if you haven't. Subscribe. Real quick, I also use Vallejo acrylic paints, all done by hand, no airbrush. Everything you're seeing is painted by hand. And actually, for me, it's easier with all the dry brushing and washes and all that stuff. It's easier to do it by hand for me. Anyway, that's it. I hope you like it. And we'll check in with you next time.